Hello and welcome back to Good Game Nation, where we bring you all things TCG. My name's Preston, and today we're doing our color review. We're going to start off with red, run through all the colors for this set, and we're of course talking about OP-08 2 Legends Red. We're going to jump right into it here, and if you watched any of my review videos up until this point, for card reveals through weekly newses, you will have known that I am not a big fan of this set for red. I don't think it has enough things that are going to make it competitive enough to compete with other decks in this set, as well as any other competitive deck in the current meta. But with that being said, I will touch on a few cards that I think are interesting, if not a little fun and cheeky, that could be something at some point. Let's start with the leader, which does set up a decent deck, but I feel like the support just isn't fully there yet. Activate main once per turn, give up to 3 of your animal or drum kingdom cards a rested dawn. So we have an ability that we know is good. Luffy does this 1 dawn at a time from the starter deck to 1 character. This does it to up to 3 characters. So you're getting a free 3,000 dawn on your board across several characters, 1k at a time. We know that adding 1k to characters is important because Zoro does it. And Zoro does it very well across the board for 1 dawn. This is just an activate main, 3,000 dawn spread across your board. That should be good. But when I look at the characters and the effects that are here, I'm not excited for that outcome. And I didn't look across all animals because I'm just looking at this set, but I did look at some other things across the board later, but I'm just not a big fan of it. We'll talk about the other leader here, even though he has no cards that are relevant. Funny translation, auto translation, boom. Boom times 1, activate main once per turn. Draw 1 card, place 1 card from your hand at the top of your deck. Afterwards, your opponent minus 2k power for the turn. A really good effect. You get to draw a card. We know that's a good thing. We all always want to draw a card. Placing 1 card at the top of your deck, okay, or bottom. Get rid of card that you don't want. Put a card to the top of your deck that you want back. Pretty cool. I know there's some effects that abuse that top card too. So having that ability late in your leader, incredible. But yeah, leaders are okay. I like them. The chopper leader isn't as bad as I make it out to be. It has a lot of potential. It just doesn't have the support to back it. Luffy and Zoro, I believe, are both just super generic. You can do whatever you want with them. And Chopper is just Drum Kingdom or Animal. So it very limited scope here. With that being said, I want to talk about the fun cards first. We have Chess and Camilio that have a combo. If you play Chess first, you get to do his on-play effect and then play the Camilio. And on play, if you have a Chess, you get to KO a 3k or less. Nice little combo here. Play this, swarm out this. You got 2 decent cards on the board. A 3 cost 3k that also gives you a 4 cost 5k is not terrible. I like that little combo to bring up characters onto your board very quickly. And if this deck is going to do anything, it's going to spawn characters on the board to abuse that chopper ability. Now, when both of those cards are discarded and hit your trash, you can play this fusion, 5 cost 6k fusion. During your turn, if you have both of these cards in your trash, this card gains 2k power. So you get a 5 cost 8k if you can get both of your original 2 cards into the trash. And that's pretty interesting. That means this card's sitting at 8k on a pretty early turn if you can get those cards KO'd. And then they can then earn some more dawn through the chopper ability, which is pretty cool. It's interesting. Moving on to the SR and our searchers. This chopper is great. Like I said, if this deck's going to do anything, it's going to bring cards onto the board on play and then again on attack. So your opponents are going to want to KO this card before he can get his attacks off, because you don't want them to be bringing out more characters that they're going to have to figure out a way to deal with. So if there is a bright side to this deck, getting Chopper out as fast as possible and then being able to get more Choppers out and more animals out so you can kind of swarm is what it has the highest potential of actually doing a thing. And then we have Kuhera, which is a top 4 searcher on play, which is great. We don't want slow searchers, and being able to search Drunk Kingdom or Chopper is great because you can play like a Grain Chopper that does not have Drunk Kingdom. There's also the potential to run a lot of Straw Hat cards around this so that you can run the Straw Hat searchers as well. I would love to see, the thing is, I would love to see like the Film Nami in this deck, but you run the risk of having that Film Nami have cards on board that your Chopper does not actually help. So there's that as our downside. As for events, your stage is pretty fun. During your opponent's turn, all of your Drunk Kingdom gets 1,000 for basically defense, which is pretty nice. I would have liked to have seen it also be on your turn, just a global 1,000, and then make it a higher cost. But having an extra 1,000 on your opponent's turn is not a bad thing. We see that in a lot of stuff now, like the Eustace Kid that gives your leader 1,000 for the duration, which is super important for defense. If your characters are hard to kill, then that's good for you. So it's not a terrible stage. And then looking at the events, they all do something very similar. They're like a boost and a minus. So you get a boost, your opponent gets minus power, and that's a pretty nice effect. The counter is okay, plus 4k, minus 1k, which is this one here. And the rest of them are pretty similar. Activate mains, minusing and plussing at the same time. This is a main counter that minuses and plus at 3. And then, of course, we have our secret rare that came out in red that really has nothing to do with Drum Kingdom or Chopper, just a card that can be played anywhere. Now, with all of that being said, what is the lesson that I learned while looking at these cards? It's a very awkward deck. The only low-cost card is a 2 here. You got your searcher, so you're really wanting to go on odds because you have the 1, 3, and then where's your 5s? You know, you got a 5 here that gains rush if you take a life. So I think that's a 1-3-5 curve that you could play. What would be a different, like a 2-4-6? I don't really see. Maybe the blocker, but you want to play chess over here. So it's kind of weird. So what I learned here is this deck viable? Very low potential in my mind that this deck is viable. When we see red do well, like with Zoro early on, it was a lot of 1 cost. All of these are 3 cost or higher. With your searcher being a 1 cost doesn't really make that big of a difference. All of what you want to play is 3 cost, which means you're paying 2 more than what you would play with Zoro if you want to just play straight weenies. Is this set good for red? I don't think so. The red-blue leader, I think, is the best thing that happened to red this set. Again, what did we learn? I think what I learned here is collect the cards just in case we get a really good boost in the future. Have them on hand. Hold on to the SRs and sell your alts early because they'll be expensive early and then they'll fall off. But yeah, I would say hold on to the animal and the Drum Kingdom stuff for now. Don't play them right away. I think you can hold off and play something a little bit more competitive until they get a nice boost, because right now I don't think there's enough to make it a high meta consideration deck. But with that being said, that is my thoughts for Red the set. I would love to hear your opinion in the comments down below. Let me know if I'm completely off base and Chopper is our new S tier, can beat Gecko Moria and Enel and Katakuri and all of the other huge players in the set. I mean, can this even stand up to Red Purple Law? I'm not sure. Let me know in the comments down below what you think, and if you like this video, hit that thumbs up. If you want to get more One Piece TCG content, hit that subscribe, and until next time, peace.